Welcome to the second part of Literacy Partners training. Remember, our goal of Literacy Partners is to have every child reading by the end of third grade. To do that, what we use is a structure called the Daily Five. We have our standards and curriculum that tell us what to teach, but the structure that it's taught in is through the Daily Five. And in Daily Five, we have read to self, work on writing, read to someone, listen to reading, and word work. In these 5 components of Daily 5, students are often independently doing these 5 things throughout their school day. Read to self is just what it says, where students are reading independently, working on building stamina. Work on writing is when students are working on an independent piece of writing through the writing process. Read to someone is partner reading or with a group. Listen to reading is reading either listening to someone read or listening to reading on the iPod, the iPad, or the computer on their on-level text. And then word work is where students get to individualize and work on their phonics that they need, and that is determined through their teacher's guided reading lessons. The benefits of using this structure include students develop independence, stamina, fluency, and comprehension. Improved literacy achievement. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 quotes now. These are 3 quotes from reading gurus about students in reading. Take a minute to read these 3 quotes and then we will discuss them. I want you to commit to one of these quotes. Which one speaks to you the most? Which one do you relate to the most? And which one do you believe in the most? If it was quote number 1, it does us no good to teach kids how to read if at the end they don't read because we've sucked the joy out of it, by Scott McCloud. What that tells us is teachers, what we can do is help students develop the motivation to become skilled readers who love to read. Research shows that over the years, students in real classrooms with real kids answer these questions. When you put all of this research together, it points to several concrete things that teachers can do. Match students with just right text. That means it's a reading book on their level that they can read without difficulty. Provide a wide variety of texts that are interesting and appropriate for students, age ranges, and personally relevant to individual students. Empower students by allowing them to select their own text, voice and choice in reading. Let students know what to expect. That they can get excited about what's coming next. We know students thrive with structure and routine, so therefore even within reading, letting them know what's coming next. What's our next skill? What's our next objective? What's our next book? What's our next goal? Encourage students to take an interest in monitoring their own reading progress. And talk about books. Discuss the characters, settings, and plots of stories and the content of nonfiction books. Support students with immediate continuous feedback and encouragement. Use technology to excite students' interest and set expectations for success. Okay, quote number 2. Kids need plenty of time to just plain read. Every kid, every day. Volume matters big time. So if this quote spoke to you, what it means is that kids just need to read. You believe that kids just need that opportunity to read. And according to Adams, reading is like every other human activity in that the amount of practice really matters, especially the amount of reading done while reading proficiency is being developed. And quote number 3, reading aloud with kids is known to be the single most important activity for building skills they'll eventually require for learning to read. Okay, so in your packet you should have this graphic called Read Aloud 15 minutes. So the goal is for students to read aloud for 15 minutes. Does it matter? Absolutely. That's how they build fluency, that's how they build thinking skills and comprehension skills. The process of literacy partners. So as a literacy partner, You will serve with humility and consistency while keeping it simple. So what that means is you will read 15 minutes one-on-one with each student. Students will bring their My Level book. They will always read first, and then you'll have conversation about the text. Then you will read your book and have conversation about the text. So student reads, conversation, you read, conversation. You will be right outside the classroom door or close by. Students will bring their books from class to read, so that's where a teacher may have helped them pick a just right text. It may be from their guided reading group, it may be from their independent reading time, but it'll be on their level and they'll be able to read it. And then you will also have library access. So what that means is you can come into our library on either campus, elementary or primary, and we have a section of books for you to choose for literacy partners. Who will I be reading with? Reading with a student with disability, a reading disability? Probably not. Those students are receiving intervention outside of the classroom already, and our goal is to not pull them from the classroom more than they have to be, so they'll be receiving their services from an interventionist. Students with dyslexia? Probably not. They too are receiving intervention from our dyslexia teacher, so they will not be reading with you either. ESL students? Could be. You could have a student that is ESL, and typically what an ESL student needs help with is vocabulary and context. So being able to know what word means, how to decipher what a word means. They'll be working a lot on language and vocabulary development. Advanced reading students, no, you will not be reading with those. You will be reading with students that are on level, but they're right there at the bubble, and we want to keep pushing them and keep encouraging them to build their reading skills. Okay, some facts, answers, and questions for literacy partners. What is reading fluency? It is reading not too slow, not too fast, but with expression. When we talk to students about reading fluency, what we say is we want them to read like they talk. What is reading comprehension? Reading comprehension is the act of understanding what you're reading. It is an intentional, active, and interactive process that occurs before, during, and after a person reads a piece of writing. Will you keep your assigned student for the entire school year? Yes. Although it may appear that they are caught up, we want to make sure that they're able to retain their growth and abilities. Will my student come from the same classroom? Maybe, maybe not. Grade levels are grouped in the same hallway, so it will make picking up students easier for you. We will try to get them close to each other classroom-wise, but they could be the same class or they may not be. Okay, let's practice reading a text. In your packet, you do have some questions to go by, but what we're going to do is practice reading this text aloud. That way you will know what to do with students. The first thing we always ask students is to look at the cover of the text. What's the title? What do you think it's going to be about? What do you think is going to happen in this story? Who are the characters? Those are types of questions you can ask them. This story is called Ribbit. Once upon a time, there was a pond that was home to a family of frogs. It was their pond, and they were very happy living there. But one morning, they discovered a surprise visitor. It was a pig. A little pink pig sitting on a rock. Goodness, said the frogs. Why is there a pig in our pond? They whispered amongst themselves until finally the chief frog spoke up. Good morning. What can we do for you? And to their amazement, the little pig answered, Brit. What did he say? Cried the frogs. This pig is confused. Does he think he's a frog? Is he making fun of us? But again, all the little pig said was, Rit. And look at our frogs down here. What looks do you see on their faces? This is a good place to stop and talk about the anger some of them have, the confusion, the surprise that they have on their faces. News of the little pig who thought he was a frog spread fast, and all the animals hurried to the pond to see the visitor. "This new relative of yours is a little pink," said the raccoon. "He's no relation of ours," declared the frogs. "He certainly sounds like a frog," said the weasel. "Why would a pig want to be a frog?" said the parrot. "And what's wrong with being a frog, may we ask?" exclaimed the frogs. Everyone started shouting at each other, completely ignoring the little pig who just sat there practicing his ribbit. The animals laughed and laughed, and the frogs got angrier and angrier until finally the chief frog shouted out, "Stop! We're not getting anywhere by fighting. We must go and find the wise old beetle. He'll know what to do." The wise old beetle gasped all the animals. "But he hates to be disturbed." "I know," said the chief frog, "but this is very serious." "That's true," the animals agreed, and off they went. So what do we think that they're going to ask the wise old beetle? Are they still angry? Are they still surprised? Because we can look at our turtle right here and really tell he is not happy in understanding this. And the little pig said, "Ribbit." The animals found the wise old beetle and tried to explain the problem. It was hard for him to understand because they were all talking at once. In the end, he had agreed to go with them to the pond. But when they arrived, we have ... What do we think they find when they arrive? There's nobody on the rock. "Where did the pig go?" the animals cried. "Who was he? What did he want?" "Maybe," said the wise old beetle, "he just wanted to make new friends." And off he went. "Oh dear," said the animals. They hadn't thought of that. And sure enough, sitting on a branch, high up in a tree nearby, was the little pig. Did he make some new friends? And what is he saying now? Tweet. He was surrounded by new friends. And now they're all sitting in the tree saying, tweet, 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 tweet. So did he just want to be friends? Is it okay that he was different than the others? Could they still be friends? Okay, as a literacy partner, you will need some resources and support. In your packet, you have a list of books for children's 4 through 8. Questions to ask your student before, during, and after the reading. The receptionist will be the person you check in with at each campus. And the librarian will be able to help you pull some books that will match to your student's age for you to read aloud. And our campus coordinator at the elementary school, that is Casey Poole. And at the primary school, that is Zan Roberts and Elena Palacios. So your next steps: get your name tag when you come on campus. Visit the campus if you're not sure the layout and which grade levels are in which hall. Get access to the library either on the elementary or primary campus, as well as the Mineola Public Library has some great books too. Check out a book and practice reading your book. You always want to read your book and preview it before reading it with a student. And if you have any questions in your packet, you have our email addresses. You have Miss Tiffany Luttrell, who's our district coordinator, as well as the campus coordinators that will be happy to answer any questions. You can also email the campus principals if you have any questions or need more resources. We are here to help you, and we are so excited about this partnership and look forward to a great year.